Okay guys, what I want you to do is to go ahead and move at your own pace, and just please make sure that you have all of the important information written down, and you're ready for tomorrow's assessment. Number 1, write the following equations in y equals mx plus b form, and then identify the slope and y-intercept. We don't need to identify the x-intercept. Alright, so in order to write this equation in slope-intercept form, of course we need to get 3x on this side, right? And your final equation in slope-intercept form should be y equals 3x minus 4. So that's what would go into sorry, y equals 3x minus 4. And of course our slope is the number in front of the x term, and our y-intercept is negative 4. Letter D, we need to get 2x on the other side, and to do that, of course, you have to subtract, which gives you y equals negative 2x plus 8. I'm going to rewrite my equation here. Your slope is the number in front of your x term. Guys, I should not have written the slope as 3x. I'm sorry. Alright. And then your y-intercept should be positive 8. Letter E. Now this equation is written in standard form, ax plus by equals c. And in order to write it in slope-intercept form, we need to add 4x to both sides. Now you have 2y equals 4x. Goodness. Sorry. 4x minus 10. Then we need to divide by 2. And your final equation will be y equals 2x minus 5. Your slope is the number in front of your x term, which is 2. And then your y-intercept is negative 5. Okay. Now, you can work with a peer buddy to discuss these answers. Number 2, Mary is selling bracelets and necklaces. She sells each bracelet for $5 and each necklace for $8. What equation shows Mary's income I from the number of bracelets X she sells and the number of necklaces Y that she sells? So, if X is our bracelet, I is the income, equals 5x, because it's $5 for each bracelet, and X stands for your bracelets. So that's going to be 5x plus 8y. Now, letter B. Find Mary's income from selling her jewelry if she sells 5 bracelets and 8 necklaces. So what you're going to do here is you're going to plug in 5 into 5 and 8 into your equation. So we have 5 times 5. Whoops. Let me start that over. 5 times 5 plus 8 times 8. And again, I'm using my equation from here. And you should get 25 plus 64, which is 89. Roman numeral 2 for letter B is the same concept. You're going to plug in 5 times 13 plus 8 times 9 . 13 times 5, 65. 8 times 9 is 72. Your total is going to be 137. Letter C. Write an equation relating number of bracelets and necklaces Mary must sell in order to make exactly $300. So my equation would be 300 is now my income. It goes in for I, equals 5x plus 8y. Letter D. Find 3 pairs of numbers of bracelets and necklaces that will bring Mary an income of $300. Now, what you need to do here is you need to plug in a number for X and Y that will give you 300. So you've got to do some arithmetic or even some mental math and figure out what numbers we can plug in here. So I'm going to start with my X value and think, what could I plug in for X here, to give me 300? Well, 500 times what number gives me 300? So I'm basically doing 300 divided by 5, which gives me 60 bracelets. If I sell 60 bracelets, then that means I don't need to sell any necklaces. All right. Now I could sell 4 bracelets. And 35 necklaces. How do I know these work? Because I can plug in 4 for X and 35 for 8 to get 300. And my next number, I can plug in 12. I can sell 12 bracelets. And 30 necklaces. Now you might get different answers for this. Your answers may vary, which means you can have 3 different answers. Just make sure you get 300. Okay, on to the next part. Jill is planning a canoe trip and wants to figure out which river offers the best deal. She researches her options and found the following 2 packages. Write equations to represent each of the following canoe packages. So, what I'm going to do here is label my first box is Wild Water. And my equation here would be y equals 2x, because $2 per hour plus $5 the initial fee, which is my y-intercept. And then for White Rapids, I'm just going to put WR for White Rapids. You would get y equals $1 per hour, which is 1 times x plus 8, which would be your initial fee, your y-intercept. Now I'm going to graph each of these equations on the right. I'm going to label the x-axis as hours, and my y-axis is cost. My first equation is going to represent Wild Water, and it's going to be in pink. So we know let's see here. To graph equations, you start with the y-intercept, which is 5 for Wild Water. Start here. And then I go ahead and form my slope, which is 2. So I go up 2 over 1, 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 up 2 over 1. Now you're going to connect this line. Okay. Now I'm going to graph the second equation in green. I start at 8, which is my y-intercept, and I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. I'm going to go ahead and connect these. Okay, whoop. All right. So your graph should look something like this. Now, we can answer question C. Under what circumstances are the costs for the canoe packages the same, and what will the cost be? Well, that is where you will see the solution. When you are asked the same, what is the same? When do they intersect? So at 3 hours, and the cost is $11. I go to 3 and see where they intersect and go over to $11. Under what circumstances is White Rapids cheaper than Wild Waters? White Rapids is in green, and Wild Water is in pink. So I look at when is it cheaper to go the green route? Well, only for more than 3. When we get to more than 3 hours, Wild Rapids becomes cheaper. So you would write at more than 3 hours of renting. What is the cost of the canoe rental for Wild Waters if you rent the canoe for 8 hours? So I would go over to 8 hours, Wild Waters, go all the way up to 8, follow it all the way up, and it's going to be $21. Okay, guys. Name the three methods you use to solve systems of equation. The first method is graphing. The second method is elimination. And the third is substitution. Now we need to go over what the different types of solutions mean. For intersecting lines, how many solutions do we have? Well, we have one solution, and it's where the lines intersect. For parallel lines, how many solutions do we have? 0. There is no solution when we have parallel lines. How many number of solutions for a straight line? Infinite. Many solutions. Slopes. How many slopes do we have here? Or what kind of slope? The slopes are different. I just want you to remember that your slopes are different for these types of graphs when your lines are intersecting. Parallel lines, your slopes are the same. And same lines, when you have the same line on the same, then that means your slopes are the same. That's common sense. Your y-intercept for intersecting lines, it can be the same or they can be different. Your y-intercept for parallel lines can be different. And the y-intercept for coincident, the same line, well, they're going to be the same. Now we're going to move to solving systems of equations using the method of your choice. Now, what I would like for you to do, and this depends on your confidence in the level that you're at now, but I would try pausing the video and trying these by yourself, and then checking your work. Okay? But right now, I'm going to go ahead and work through these. If you want to try them by yourself, please press pause. Number 6. The best way for us to solve number 6 is to use substitution. How do I know that? Because our coefficients you have your coefficients as the same here, but it's easiest to use substitution and set these guys equal to each other because they're already in y equals mx plus b form. So you can go ahead and set them equal to each other and then substitute in. Now here we're going to solve for x. That's going to be 5x equals 5. X equals 1. I go ahead and plug in my x value for x here to one of the original equations. 3 times 1 minus 1. 3 minus 1 equals 2. Your final answer is 1, 2. Number 7. The best method for number 7 is going to be elimination. Our equations are not in y equals mx plus b form. They're in standard form. So that should tell you right there, okay, I need to use elimination. Now, if you look back at number 6, these equations are in y equals mx plus b form. So you would use substitution. All right, so if I'm going to use elimination for number 7, I'm going to decide, do I add, subtract? What do I do? Well, I'm going to go ahead and subtract, and that will get rid of my x values. Now I'm left with 4y equals 24, y equals 6. I take 6 and plug it back into one of the original equations for y here. I'm going to choose this one. 5x plus 3 times 6 equals 53. 5x equals 18 minus 53, which is 35. X equals 7. So my final answer is 7, 6. Number 8. The best choice for number 8 is going to be substitution. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this expression for x and plug it in to my first equation for x. So it's going to be y plus 50. I'm plugging this in for x here for this original equation. Y plus 50 plus 2y equals 200. Okay. Now I solve for y. 3y equals 150. Y equals 50. Then I'm going to plug in y. 50 for y into this equation here so that I can get x. X equals 50 plus 50. X equals 100. My answer is 100, 150. Okay, number 9. If you look at number 9, you will see that your coefficients for y, they're the same, so you need to use elimination. You also know to use elimination because these our two equations are written in standard form. So I'm going to rewrite my equations. 8x minus 6y equals negative 122. Negative 4x plus 6y equals 94. Now, I look at my y values. I know that I need to add in order to get rid of the 6 y's. Alright, so 8x plus a negative 4x is 4x. These cancel. Negative 122 plus 94 gives you a negative 28. Solve for x, it equals 7. Now you're going to plug in negative 7 for x to get 8 times negative 7 minus 6y equals negative 122. And when you solve for y, you should get y equals 11. And so your final answer is negative 7, 11. Okay? All right, now number 10 is one of these problems that we'll have to use elimination, but we have to multiply. I'm going to go ahead and do like this so that you know all this work is for number 10. Alright, I'm going to rewrite it here. 2x minus 3y equals negative 11. 3x plus 2y equals 21. Now, my coefficients are not the same here for my x's or my y's. So I need to multiply. But unfortunately, I have to multiply both equations by a number to get rid of my x's or my y's. Now you have to decide to yourself which one do you want to get rid of, my x's or y's. Now I'm going to choose to get rid of my x values. Alright, now the coefficients for my x's are 2 and 3. What is the least common multiple for 2 and 3? Is 6. And what do I need to multiply 2 by to get 6? You need to multiply it by 3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Then I'm going to multiply both of these sides by 2. So now both of my x coefficients will be 6. So now I have 6x minus 9y equals negative 33. Now I have 6x plus 4y equals 42. Now I have coefficients that are the same here, right here, 6. And now I need to think to myself, how do I get rid of them? I need to subtract them. So these cancel. Now watch your signs when you're doing the rest. Negative 9y minus a positive 4y is negative 13y equals negative 33 minus a positive 42 is a negative 75. You get y equals 75 over 13. Plug this y in and you will get x equals 41 over 13. And so your final answer is 41 over 13 and 75 over 13. And that is your final answer. Okay, guys. Now we need to do our EOC review for homework, or if you're finished with your review, you're doing it for class time. Today we're going to look at arithmetic sequences. All right. The directions ask you to write the correct definition for each vocabulary word. All right. Let's start with this first definition. This is used to determine any specific term in a sequence. Could it be sequence, term, common difference, arithmetic sequence, recursive formula, or explicit formula? Okay, so let's start with the term. I think the terms will be easier. Sequence. Is it a set of numbers in a specific order? Is this used to determine? Well, it's not used to determine anything. Is it each number in a sequence? A constant value? Is it used to determine, or is it a sequence that increases or decreases by a constant value? I think the best I know the best definition is going to be, let's go ahead and label these. This will be A, B, C, D, E, and F. Sequence is going to be a set of numbers in a specific order. The term is going to be each number in a sequence. The common difference is the constant value in an arithmetic sequence. I'm sorry, I wrote the wrong letter down here. Hold on. I'll just have to scratch it out. A sequence is a set of numbers in a specific order. Sorry, guys. So that would be B. Okay, I'm going to jump to recursive formula. Recursive formula is used to determine any specific term in a sequence. A. And explicit formula is used to determine the next term of a sequence from one or more of the preceding terms. Would be F. And then the arithmetic sequence is a sequence that decreases or increases by a constant value. All right. Now to numbers 2, 3, and 4. Find the next two terms in the sequence. Well, to do that, you need to subtract any consecutive terms. So A minus a negative 5 gives you 13. So it looks like we're adding 13 each time because 13 is the common difference. Negative 5 plus 13 is 8. 8 plus 13 is 21. 21 plus 13 is 34. 34 plus 13 is 47. And 47 plus 13 is 50. All right, number 3 and 4 I would do by yourself. I would pause the video and then turn it back on to check your work. I'm going to go ahead and explain these for those who still need explanation. Go ahead and draw a line here. Number 3, find the next two terms in the sequence. To do that, again, you have to subtract any two consecutive terms. 14,406 minus a negative 2,058. Okay, and you should get 16,464. So it looks like that's what we're adding this, the common difference each time. So negative 42 negative 42 plus 16,464 will give you 16,422.